Alright, so it's season 2, and here are my thoughts so far. This video is a little late because I was working on another marathon video, but it's taking too long, so I'll just get this one out the way first. And I'm actually glad that I waited because I got a lot more stuff to talk about now. We actually now know what the real PvE mode is, which got announced today. It's going to be Cryo Archive, which honestly I didn't expect, but I look forward to it. It's called Vault Breaker, and it comes in the mid-season patch, which is in July. And it's going to be available for solos, duos, and trios, allowing you to carry progression across matches as you solve vaults that get more challenging until the final boss room. The loot is exclusive to this mode. You can't exfil with it, which is great. They already learned their lesson from the upper complex grind that people were doing. The mode has its own currency, which you can then use to upgrade the sponsor kits that you start out with. So this sounds very interesting. I really hope they do another free-to-play week so the PvE crowd can, see if this mode appeals to them a bit more. Because the free week that they just did reportedly, did bring a lot of new sales to the game. I think this mode will be good for, everybody if you want to learn cryo before going in with your actual loot, if you're just a casual player, or, if you just want to see what the cryo map looks like in case you never played it for whatever reason. And I can tell you, inside of cryo actually looks really cool. So, the state of Season 2. Oh, Bungie, what what did y'all do? The state of Season 2 is, it's not great right now. So, let's start with the obvious problem, the loot economy. It's all kinds of fucked. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They definitely did mess it up. There's 3 layers to it. They wanted to increase progression compared to last season. So the first mistake was giving out free kits to returning players. Then, because of the server issues on day 1, they gave out more free kits to everybody as compensation. The second mistake was the new PvP Light mode, which is pretty much PvE, allowed players to farm upper complex and get golds and purples on back-to-back runs for 2 weeks. And then the third mistake was Cryo Archive opened like a week later, when in the first season it launched, I think, either 2 or 3 weeks after the season launched. And the fourth mistake was honestly kind of just overcorrecting and applying a bunch of nerfs to loot across the board. They should have did the nerf either a week later or at the end of the season, but here we are. So day 1 after the seasonal wipe, they kind of flooded the loot pool with good gear. So unfortunately, this is going to be a learning season for the devs of where they went wrong and what not to do in the future. I mentioned in my last video, the game looks for any excuse to throw gear at you for your actions and stuff you complete, which is fine. That's a gameplay system. Bungie themselves injecting loot into the game as a means of compensation for mistakes on their end is a bad idea, and I don't think they should be doing that. Give out salvage, consumables, cosmetics, or even like the battle pass credits, whatever, but they shouldn't be throwing premium kits at players, especially after a wipe. And then they really overcorrected with the pace of the progression. I'm not sure why they wanted it to feel faster than last season, because now you have a case where we are like 3 weeks into a new season, and it just kind of feels like the end of season 1, like the wipe didn't even happen. So the people that played the first 2 weeks and were able to farm upper complex are pretty much set for the rest of the season. They have a lot of gold guns and gold gear. I've seen the insides of people's vaults and the discussions, and then Bungie nerfed the loot in multiple areas, and then also nerfed the Cradle XP twice, which was another mistake on their end, because the casual players can't even catch up now. This is, I guess, where my and many other people's frustration comes in. The people who were, able to play the game and grind for hours for a while are set, versus people like me who can't play as often because I have a life. Damn, that sounds crazy. But you know what? I'm rolling with it. Yeah, anybody who plays this game more than me doesn't have a life. Some people are really up in arms about this. I'm not super upset about it. I don't know. I don't take games that seriously. If I'm not having fun, I'll just stop playing. For me, I'm looking at all this from I guess a long-term standpoint, like the overall health of the game. And everybody seems to be divided between the sweats and the more casual players on how they're going about balancing the game right now. So, like I said, I'm not super mad about the loot being nerfed. I get loot the old-fashioned way. I just kill people and take their stuff. It's how I filled up my vault with golds and purples last season. I don't really find doing all the key rooms and meta grind methods fun, so I don't do that. Like, I'll just probably do them once for novelty and see what that's like, but typically I'm just here for the story and to throw myself into good PvP fights. My frustration this season, though, just comes from running into back-to-back gold players. My aim could not save me. There was nothing I could do against gold gear with my green shields and guns. Unlike last season where I was killing people with better gear. To add a bit more nuance to that, I guess, I could be higher skilled than another player, but because they have better shields and can take more damage and dump more bullets with their gold mags, I would then be at a disadvantage. But that's not the frustrating part. I'm not mad because I'm dying a lot to people who might be worse than me. For me, it's why am I coming across gold shields this consistently this early into a new season? And I was like around level 25. It doesn't feel good, especially since I don't really have the gear to fight back. By the time I was coming across gold players consistently last season, it was fine because, you know, I also had purples. But it just felt more natural because it was past the midpoint of the season. You'd expect most regular players to have good gear by then. Like at one point I was contemplating if I was just gonna stop playing and wait until season 3 because it felt so bad. But this week has been a bit better. Also, I caved and got the destroyer skin, so I can't buy a skin and then just stop playing. 10 out of 10 skin though, absolutely love it. The one area where progression is sped up that I think is good is the cradle, allowing people to upgrade the melee, heat gauge, and cooldown, and the loot speed is great because those 3 areas at the start of a season feels really bad. So to be able to immediately start upgrading them without having to go through various factions is actually pretty good. The only change I'd want is maybe it saves like different presets based on which character you pick instead of just being account wide. In terms of the sponsored survival playlist, some people like this sponsored mode, which is great because those who don't like PvP can find some enjoyment in the game, but this mode puts me to sleep if I'm playing solo. I don't really like it. I think it's pretty boring. The PvP gunfights are just too entertaining in comparison to fighting bots, but playing it with friends, it makes it a lot more tolerable for me. You know, it's a chill mode. You can still play a marathon if you had some bad runs. You don't need to just get off the game now. So that's a good thing about PvE type modes. It can keep people in the game if they're having a bad time in PvP. Especially on perimeter. Like the last week I did mostly like 10 to 15k runs, still got like a decent amount of purples. So it's not like super insane loot, but it's still okay. But let's talk about the new content. Night Marsh, I'm 50-50 on it. I prefer it in the new sponsored survival mode. I'd rather not get shot in the dark by somebody I didn't see in PvP, but I love when Bungie does horror themed areas. They're really good at it. I got jump scared a couple times by the images that, you know, flash on the TVs. There's bots that disappear. Night Marsh is a schizophrenic simulator. They really nailed the scary atmosphere, but the lack of new priority contracts is the biggest letdown for me personally, because that's what drew me to the game. The narrative aspect and the new contracts for Night Marsh are pretty much just a guide to showing you what's new in the map, and then you get new skins for some guns. The battle pistol feels really good to shoot, and it is super strong. Probably will get nerfed soon. I don't care for the KKV as much as I thought I would, and as for Sentinel, I don't really think he suits my playstyle. Also, I'm not in lobbies where like I deal with grenade spam, so he's just not useful for me, I'd say. You know, I might have to avoid a grenade or two, but it's not like a whole barrage to the point where I'd say he's a must play for me. I can see him maybe being more useful for people that are like level 200 and constantly play Cryo Archive. So yeah, like I said, this is one of those seasons where they made some mistakes and have to learn from it, and hopefully not repeat it in future seasons. There's a lot of eyes on Bungie now that this is their only game. They can't really afford to have big missteps like this. They've made a string of bad calls here, and, you know, yeah, everybody makes mistakes, but to, you know, have a bad season launch like this so early in the game's life cycle is not great. I really like all the cool stuff that they're trying, but overall, kind of disappointed with the start of this season so far, especially coming off the excitement of last season, but we'll see how the rest of the season goes with the mid-season patch and what other balancing decisions they make, and PvE Cryo Archive. So, what are your thoughts on this season so far? I'd love to hear from the really experienced extraction shooter players on the loot topic, but if you made it this far, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.